Hi everyone, welcome to Spiritism and the Media, your show here on Kardec Radio. Our goal here is to bring the teachings that the high-elevated spirits brought to us and to see how we can apply them in our daily lives when we are talking about media, communication. For example, when we are going to the movies, to watch, to the cinema, to watch a movie, when we are listening to the radio, when we are going online, on social media, we are going to see and to study a little bit how we can apply those teachings in our daily lives. So last week I brought a text from Joana de Angelis, the spirit guide of the medium Divaldo Franco, the Brazilian speaker and medium Divaldo Franco, and we didn't finish the text, so today I brought the text again and we are going to read a little more and to make some comments. And this text, it was psychographed here in the US in 1988 in Santa Monica, California. And she's talking about the power of the word. So let's see what she says here. The word is a seed that is deposited in the soil of life. According to its quality, it reappears in the harvest of fruits that will bear peace or disgrace. Sowing therefore must be done consciously with an eye to the future. So here she's comparing the words that we say every day with seeds. So just bring it to our mind again. Every day we speak around 10,000, 15,000, 20,000 words. So imagine that we have between 10,000 and 20,000 seeds every day that we are depositing in the soil of life. So what are the seeds that we are putting there, and what are the fruits that we are going to reap after that? So just giving an example how we can compare that to our social media. If I go online, if I go to my Facebook page, for example, and I write something there, what am I bringing to my page? Am I bringing good words? Am I bringing some context that is going to bring peace, to bring happiness to my followers? Or am I using it to bring, like as Joana says, disgrace, maybe rage? One example that we have today, we can see the society very split, especially when we are talking about politics. We have people with very different views in opposite sides, and they fight all the time online. And they go to each other profiles and they comment on the posts that they have. And are we bringing peace in those words? No, we're not. We're not. We are actually helping to make the situation worse. So let's think every time we go online and we write something, or especially when we make some comment in other people's posts, if we are bringing some words that are going to help with the situation, or if we are just worsening that situation. And another point that I think is very good for us to think here, as she's talking about seed and soil, we can make a comparison with the parable of the sower, when we see that we can have the same seed in different soils, and the seed will grow or not according to the soil that receives it. For example, we may have a rocky soil, we may have a good soil, so the plant is going to grow or not depending on the soil that receives it. And when we're talking about something that we post online, we never know who is going to read that. That means we never know the soil that is going to receive that seed. So it's very important for us also to think about that, because we never know who is going to read or who is going to listen to us, who is going to watch our video. So let's be very careful not to make some comments or to put out some words that may hurt someone else. So it's very important for us to see this two sides: the seed, like the words we're going to put out there, and also the soils that may receive those words. And Joana also says, when an unfortunate word is silenced, it remains subdued, but if expressed, it is made ruthless. So again, she's talking about the silence. I talked a little bit about the silence in the previous show when I gave the example of Jesus. And here again, let's take Jesus' example, as Jesus used to do in the conversations that he had in Simon Peter's house, and all the examples that you have from the book Jesus in the Home by Neo Lucio. Jesus always listening to everyone. Then he took a moment of silence to think about what the people had just told him, and then he would make a comment, he would bring a teaching, he would enlighten the environment. So many times it's good for us to have this moment of silence before talking. Many times, not all the time, I mean. All the time it's good for us to think a little bit what we are going to say. And many times, if we cannot say something that is going to help others, it's better to stay in silence, to keep silence. And Joan also says, talking is a science and an art. Science because it must always be a messenger of wisdom, impregnated with love, bearer of faith, and art because it must be clothed with the corresponding modulation to what it informs. It was established as correct in the art of the word that is not always what is said, but how it is said, which provokes the reaction of the listener. So put the right amount of emotion in your verb to make it objective, clear, and healthy. So again, she's not only talking about the words that we choose, but how we use those words. It's very important here. Put the right amount of emotion in your verb to make it objective, clear, and healthy. Because it's very usually we can give an answer to someone using some words, but deep inside we have another thing in our mind. Like you may use sarcasm, for example. Maybe the person will notice that, maybe the person will not notice that, but we know that in the end we are saying something, but we are meaning another thing. Like we are saying yes and we want to say no. So as Jesus said, yes, yes, no, no. Let's be clear what we are saying must be connected to what we are feeling. Many times it's very difficult, especially in some situations, in some social situations that we have in our daily lives. It's very difficult for us because we really want to hide what we are feeling. And once we say something, it's very difficult to hide it. But it's very important, like, to put the right amount of emotion, not to go to the extremes, but to be in the right point. It's difficult, yeah, it is. It is difficult. It's not easy. She's not saying that it's easy, but she's saying that we must make an effort to do that. So speak sending positive waves, sincere statements with corresponding load of friendship. In the face of a negative situation, do not make a general core with rude, derogatory words that bring bitterness and anger. In addition to not resolving the occurrence, they become worse, generating disturbance and imbalance. Again, the example that I gave when we are on Facebook. If we do not have anything to add that is going to make some situation better there, just don't write anything. Because if we just put fire on that, if we put wood on fire, it's going to be worse. So the best way, or we become silent, or let's try to use the right amount of words to bring peace to any situation. The word that brings evil has been responsible for lamentable wars, just as the one that becomes a messenger of understanding and lucidity has been able to intermediate and achieve peace. The word propels to work, action of goodness, or to revolt, sloth, injustice. So the same word, the same tool that we have, we can use it in a good way or in a bad way. And word is an arrow that shot can no longer be stopped. Reaching the target, be careful with it. So it's very important. Once we say something, it's out there. No matter if we go online and delete that, no matter if we say something different to the person after, the person already heard what we said, so it's out there. As Joanna says here, be careful with it. And if we remember the beginning of the text when she says that every time we say something, we are actually sending the thoughts that we have in our minds. So even though if we do not say, if we are already sending that vibration even with our thoughts. But this is another step, it's a higher step. Sometimes we may still have those thoughts, but if we just keep silence, it's the best thing to do. And she summarized here, speaking, Jesus completely changed the existential philosophy still prevailing in his homeland and opened the borders of the hope of happiness for creatures of all future times. So, like adding that Jesus' example is the best one that we have. So anytime we want to see how's the best way for us to act, how's the best way for us to react to any situation, let's go and see Jesus. We have the teachings in the gospel, we have the teachings in other books. Let's follow his example is the best thing that we can do. So just to finish, let's read a lesson from the book Happy Life. So it's lesson number 33. Have pity on the ungrateful. They asphyxiate noble sentiments in the vapors of pride. Gratitude is the dignified feeling that should be alive in the man who receives good from life. We all owe it to someone or many people who have come to our aid in the crucial moments of existence. Help at a crucial time is responsible for everything good that may happen to you. It impels you to be permanent gratitude. Be grateful in every situation. So with these happy words, let's keep them in our minds and have a wonderful week. Thank you so much for joining us. See you next week. And if you want to make any comment, you can make it here on Facebook if we are watching us on Facebook, or you can also send an email to Kardec Radio. The email is kardecradio@gmail.com. May God be with us. See you next week.